Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball!
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Cozy it up. Don't need to make it. 2 putts.
It is my honor to welcome the champion of the 125th United States Open with a score of 279, the Jack Nicklaus Gold Medal for the winner of the 125th U.S. Open goes to J.J. Spawn of Los Angeles, California.
Next pitch to Crawford. Fly ball, right field, back, gone! First Father's Day Grand Slam, J.P. Crawford.
Mauricio drives one deep to left field. Back goes Castro near the wall, and he can't make the play. Newby! Mauricio Dubon spikes the helmet. Back-to-back walk-offs for the Astros, 2-1.
To Happ. Line drive base hit, right field. Brujan in, Cubs win. Ian Happ, your hero. 2-2. Swing and a miss. The teal is for real. Another win. 25 in a row for Coastal.
What a busy weekend it was. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show on this beautiful Monday. No rain today. A little cooler, a little less humidity than yesterday. And we are fired up and ready to go. 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world. We welcome you in at am1310wdpn.com. Also, you can check us out on the WDPN Twitter page, the Facebook page, which we're up and running live right now, audio, video. Check it out. And you can check us out on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. We are ready to roll there as well. Sammy B here, Ryan Rainsberg on the other side of the glass, and welcome to the program. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Hope all the dads had a great Father's Day yesterday. The U.S. Open was absolutely incredible. The Guardians stink right now, and that's about as nice as I can put that, right? The high school spring sports season has come to an end. Yesterday was the last day. Crowned a couple of more state champions in baseball, and want to give a big shout-out to Coach Shane Byler and Lake Center Christian. That was heartbreak yesterday. They won their state semifinal easily on Saturday, and they had to go up against Berlin Highland yesterday up at Canal Park. Highland came in, I think, 30-1. Lake Center, I believe, was 28-4, and it was just an unbelievable game. Highland was in control, and Lake Center goes boom, boom, boom with three runs in the top of the seventh inning to take a 4-3 lead. And Berlin Highland gets 2 in the bottom of the seventh, and they walk it off for the win. But great job by Lake Center Christian. Hold your heads up. I know it's tough today. It was tough yesterday, I know. But you guys had a heck of a season, so congratulations. And we're hoping to catch up with Shane Byler maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, do a little recap of the high school baseball season with him for his team and the incredible tournament run and the great state championship weekend experience. And we'll catch up with Coach in a couple of days. But great spring season for everybody. And now we're done. Now we're done until basically done until maybe like the second or third. We'll say mid-week of mid-August. That's when we start firing up again. I mean, in totality. I know the high school golf season starts earlier. There's 7-on-7s and this and that and the other, but the high school season is done for now. But we'll recoil and rejuvenate and fire things up for you coming up here in August. We can't wait for that here on 1310 WDPN. Of course, Q92 Sports, Q92 Radio. We are going to be ready to roll, and so hopefully you are too. But until then, relax, enjoy summer, hit the pool, get some sun, play some golf, have some fun, enjoy your summer, because we got plenty of time to go full bore into the high school sports coming up here in about 2.5 months. So just get out there and enjoy life now for as much as you can. Let's see what else happened over the weekend. The U.S. Open yesterday. Holy moly. How was that? How was that yesterday? J.J. Spawn. And who? Who is J.J. Spawn? Well, I didn't know who J.J. Spawn was either until midway through his round on Saturday. And I thought, this guy's pretty good. He's playing his way into the group of 5 or 6 that could maybe be there on Sunday. And he finished up his day Saturday. He was a couple of shots back. Had a horrible start to his round yesterday. And as we were kind of celebrating Father's Day yesterday, and we'll get into that here in a minute, I thought, okay, guy's probably going to fade away here a little bit, and maybe it'll be Victor Hovland, maybe it'll be Adam Scott, who knows? But it's not going to be J.J. Spawn. So the day goes on, and I'm kind of checking my phone every hour or so, looking at the scoreboard. I'm like, boy, this guy had a terrible, terrible open to the day. And lo and behold, there he was. I said, this cannot be J.J. Spawn a couple shots back. We're about hole 13, hole 14. He starts putting it together. And he's just ripping the ball, keeping it in the fairway, making big putts. I said, holy cow. This guy's got a chance to win this thing. And then 18 rolls around. And it's raining. It's pouring. You can see all the umbrellas up all over the course. J.J. Spawn and the other golfers are holding their umbrellas while their caddies are, looking for information and checking how far it is to the hole and getting their club and drying off the clubs and this and that and the other. And he rolls up, hits his tee shot on 18. Okay. Probably gonna par and win this thing. Probably. Hits a great shot. 64.5 feet later, he bangs it home. A walk-off winner for the U.S. Open at Oakmont. In the rain, his caddy, they give a big hug. They're kind of twirling their umbrella around. It was a great scene at Oakmont. The fans were going crazy as the rain was coming down. It was wild. It was starting to get pretty dark. I'm starting to think, geez, if this thing goes extra time, I mean, how are they going to get it done? But it was pretty incredible. Now, I will say this. The entire tournament that was broadcast on NBC, I know they took over the prime time, so they didn't, but Saturday and Sunday, my God, could you work a few more commercials in? Seriously, what was all that?
That was capitalism, Sam.
But you know what? There comes a point where I don't want my commercials to be interrupted by the main event. I want the main event. And it was, let's just say they would open up at the top of the hour. They'd come back on at like maybe 1 or 1.5 minutes past the hour. Let's just say 4 o'clock, just for discussion. And they'll do a little recap, and it's like 4:02. Now they're going to start cutting to the shots. And at like 4:09, I hear the music. I'm like, are you kidding me? I know they're going to break, and there they go. Like 3.5, 4 minutes. They come back. Another 7 or 8 minutes. here comes the U.S. Open music. I mean, and I know I'm not the only one that noticed this. I know I'm not the only one. But it was bad. Like, it was. I was thinking about just hitting the record button on the DVR for Saturday and all day Sunday because it was so annoying sitting there waiting. I guess we kind of get spoiled watching the Masters. Because I think Saturday, Sunday at the Masters, I know Sunday for sure, it's commercial free. Now, I get it. You got to make money. But the Masters does a different way of generating the revenue. and honestly, I'm not a big fan of NBC golf coverage. I like it on CBS. Give me Jim Nantz. Give me those commentators. I'm good. But I thought the coverage was, God, it was hard to watch. It really was. But the actual action, the clutch putts, the course, I mean, that was one of the toughest courses that I've ever watched anybody play at the professional level of golf. They wanted carnage at Oakmont, and they got it. Like, there was golf clubs and bags and bodies laying all over the place. And then you had the weather. You had the big weather delay yesterday. But it was a wild U.S. Open. And congratulations to J.J. Spawn. That 64.5-foot putt was good for $4.5 million. Got his major, and now he's off and running. That J.J. Spawn may never win another tournament again. Who knows? But he got the big one yesterday. That was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So we've got the Masters in the books. We've got the U.S. Open in the books. We got two more. We've got the British Open. Yes, it's the British Open. And we've got the PGA Championship. Those are your majors right there. So good stuff yesterday. Now, as far as Father's Day goes, what did all of you dads get into yesterday? It seemed to me, just scrolling through a little bit of social media, late Saturday night, early Sunday, like the stereotypical Father's Day that a dad wants, and this is just how I'm reading it, is to just kind of hang out on the couch, sit on the patio, and watch the U.S. Open. And maybe cook out, something like that. That's the kind of gist that I got by looking at several videos and what several dads were doing, or what they wanted to do, like little parody videos. So yesterday, look, I'm just go with the flow thing. I don't need a special, you know what I mean? My family does a great job every year. It's usually real simple. It's kind of how I like it. So yesterday, I got up and I mowed the yard because I figured probably a good day to do that. And that was kind of cool. Got that done. Got a sunburn, of course. Forgot to put a hat on. And it was a real hazy day yesterday. A little bit of sun came out like 4:30, 5 o'clock. But I was out there at about noon, 12:30. And I made the mistake of, the sun can't get me through the clouds, even though I know full well that's nonsense. So the sun got me a little bit yesterday. So I got the grass mowed. And then we went over to Fun Times Fun Park yesterday, over here in Alliance. I've never been there.
Is that the one off 62?
Yes.
Yes.
You get off 62 at State Street. You take a quick left. You kind of go down the hill there a little bit.
Yep.
And it sits back off the road. I can't tell you how many times I've passed it the last 10 years doing Mount Union sports, driving to work here, every Monday through Friday. And we were like kicking around places to just go mini golf. And we, sometimes we go to Sluggers and Putters. Sometimes we go to the Clearwater, whatever. And I was like, you know what? Let's go to the place over in Alliance. I'd never been there. I don't think any of us have ever been there. So we went and checked it out. It was cool. It was, I mean, they've got mini golf there, but they got so much to do there. And it's probably geared toward the younger kids a little bit, but there's still a lot of stuff you can do.
That's not going to stop me from driving the go-karts.
Oh, you'll be there.
I'm way too tall, but that is still not going to stop me from driving the go-karts.
Nothing will stop you.
No. It's too fun.
So it was really cool. We played around the golf, and then we hopped back on State Street, and everybody was kind of feeling a little, let's do a little Mexican. So we went to Jalisco over here on State Street, and we ate there. Everything was really, really good. And then we drove back home, kind of hung out on the patio a little bit, sat outside, just jibber jabbing, and I was like, "Oh, the U.S. Open! Crap, I forgot. I thought I was going to miss the end." And then I remembered before we left the house, they had a rain delay. I'm like, "Oh, maybe we're in business here." So I turned it on, and they're on 17. I'm like, perfect. I watched the rest of the U.S. Open, saw that crazy putt go in by J.J. Spawn. Really, really cool. Opened up a couple Father's Day cards, lost on a couple Ohio Lottery instant scratch-off tickets, which is tradition. Never win anything on those. And that was it. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe my best Father's Day gift ever yesterday. My wife and son on Saturday went to Mally's Chocolates. They brought home a bag of what's called Corny McGee's. Remember the other day we were talking about weird food concoctions on the show? Well, this was like Fritos corn chips, peanut butter, and chocolate, and they were cold. Oh my God. That is the new crack. It was so good. I almost ate the whole bag. They wouldn't let me open them until yesterday. And I went through those things. I had like 6 left. I'll take a picture of it. I'll put it up on social media. That was one of the best snacks I've ever had in my life. I can't tell you how good they were. I'll post a picture. Oh my God, they were so good. Best gift of the day yesterday. I have no idea what the calorie intake is, nor do I care, nor do I want to know, because I'm sure it's loaded with sugar and fat and carbs. I don't care.
You just ignore it on stuff like that.
I did.
That's a cheat item. It's not important.
Oh man, I hope they keep them year round. I've never seen them before, but they brought those home, and I dug into that bag yesterday, and that was unbelievable. All right, we got to take a break. 25 minutes after the top of the hour. See, we went longer than the U.S. Open coverage. 330-821-1310 is our number. We'll come back with more of the Sam Bourquin Show. 1310 WDPN.
Looking to beautify your home with all the colors of the season? DeHoff's Flowers Greenhouse and Landscaping has 32,000 square feet of greenhouses filled with blooming and beautiful flats of annuals and perennials. So you'll find everything you can imagine and more. Their hanging baskets are overflowing with splendor, plus they have a huge selection of all your favorite hardy vegetable plants. In DeHoff's nursery, you'll find thousands of trees and shrubs on 1.5 acres. And right now, the rhododendrons are blooming beautifully in lush and novel colors. The vibrant blooms of the easy-to-maintain knockout roses will knock you out. DeHoff's decorative bird baths, statues, and pottery will add the perfect accent to your landscape. Just a mile south of State Street on the corner of Beach and Beechwood is a wonderland of color. That's DeHoff's Flowers, Greenhouse, and Landscaping in Alliance.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills or level up in your current field, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We'll take care of your training costs so you can focus on building the skills you need for a brighter future in fields such as healthcare or skilled trades. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, don't forget news and weather coming up here in just a couple of minutes. People are saying, hey, hurry up and text that photo of that candy you got yesterday. All right, I'm going to do that here in about 2 minutes.
Look, Sam, I'm over here itching like a crackhead trying to figure out what that is, because that sounds incredible.
Corny McGee's from Mally's Chocolates. I'm gonna post this.
Google
here
that during
in
the
a couple
break.
minutes. Oh my God, they're unbelievable. Also, we've got On This Day in Sports History coming up at 5:27 today, and I almost forgot our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. Poll question of the day. You can take it on AM 1310 WDPN, on Twitter, on Facebook, my Facebook page. You can drop comments on all of our social medias. Here we go. Our poll question today. The Cleveland Guardians will end up A, winning the division, B, getting a wild card spot, C, missing the playoffs, D, having a fire sale. Where are you sitting with the Guards after that incredible bad exhibition of baseball over the weekend? If you missed it, they got shut out again yesterday. 6-0. No Guardians highlights today. We will hear from Stephen Boat, though. But our poll question today, the Cleveland Guardians will end up, A, winning the division, B, getting a wild card spot, C, missing the playoffs, or D, having a fire sale. Let us know on social media, or you can give us a ring at 330-821-1310. Our guest today, Bob Nightengale, USA Today baseball writer, coming up at around 3:45 today. And we will talk with Bryan Herberghs, good friend of mine, also head golf coach at McKinley. We'll chop it up with Coach Bergs today. We'll talk about the U.S. Open yesterday. So we've got lots coming your way. Do us a favor. Keep it here. 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. The conflict between Israel and Iran has forced many countries in the Middle East to close their airspace as Israeli jets and Iranian exploding drones and missiles fly over their night skies. There is no sign the conflict is ending soon, and many in the region fear a wider war as they watch waves of attacks. Dozens of airports in the region have stopped their flights or reduced operations, leaving tens of thousands of passengers stranded at airports in the region and many others unable to flee the conflict or travel home. Iran says more than 220 people have died since the conflict began. In Israel, at least 24 people have been killed. In an exclusive interview with ABC's Jonathan Karl, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's not confident that Iran wants to have more talks in good faith, and says Israeli forces are targeting more than just Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile programs.
We're going to see if Iran is serious about dismantling their nuclear program, dismantling their missile capacity, dismantling the terror axis that terrorizes everybody in the Middle East and well beyond. If they agree to all of that, obviously, the war could end.
President Trump is in Canada for the G7 or Group of Seven summit. The president declined to answer what it would take for the U.S. to be directly involved in the growing conflict between Israel and Iran, saying he didn't want to talk about the issue. Instead, Trump continued to press Iran on negotiations on its nuclear program. During a bilateral meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Trump said they should talk, and they should talk immediately. Trump added, "I'd say Iran is not winning this war." All 17 former members of a CDC advisory panel on vaccines are speaking out following their recent firings by the Health and Human Services Secretary. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has more from Washington.
Writing in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, the former members of the advisory panel say their dismissals have left the nation's vaccine program critically weakened. These experts also say the administration's changing recommendations on COVID-19 shots, quote, reflect a troubling disregard for the scientific integrity that has historically guided U.S. immunization strategy. Last week, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appointed 8 new members to the vaccine panel, including noted vaccine skeptics.
It's 76 degrees and Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
No, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly cloudy skies for the remainder of your Monday afternoon with a high near 79. For tonight, mostly cloudy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms during the early morning hours, a low around 66. Tuesday, a chance of showers, possibly a thunderstorm by early afternoon, a high of 79. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Looking for something fun to do this summer? Come out to Copeland Oaks for our annual Classic Cruise-In on Sunday, July 27th. Gates open at 10 a.m. with registration until 1. Enjoy free food, music, and lots of fun. Join us Sunday afternoon, July 27th for the Cruise-In on the Copeland Oaks Retirement Campus, just off Route 62 near Sebring. $5 registration for classic vehicles. All proceeds benefiting a local charity. Dash plaques and trophies will be awarded for classic cars. Copeland Oaks, family fun.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the program. Phones are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can always text the program at 330-924-7088. Text us, 330-924-7088. The Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. The Cleveland Guardians will end up A, winning the division, B, getting a wild card spot, C, missing the playoffs, D, having a fire sale. Right now on Twitter, 50% say miss the playoffs, 33% they'll get a wild card, 8% they'll win the division, 8% they'll have a fire sale. You can call us as well. Let us know. Where are you sitting with the Guardians? How do you think they will end up? That was a bad weekend in Seattle. That was bad. That wasn't even fun to watch. And honestly, the only reason that I watched Friday night and Saturday night is because they were on so late. And I'm like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. I'll watch.
With the Chase mobile app, things move a little more.
It was bad baseball, bad pitching, bad hitting. It was just bad all the way around. And guess what? The last time that we all visited together was Friday. Today, the Guardians are 35-35. They are a 500 team. And they are 9.5 games out of first place. And they're lucky. They're darn lucky that the Cincinnati Reds helped them out this weekend. Because the Reds beat the Tigers, I think, 2 out of 3. And I think the last 2 games, the Tigers lost. So very easily, the Guardians could be 10.5, 11.5 games off the pace. Matter of fact, you could have woke up this morning, you would have been behind Kansas City, Minnesota, and Detroit in the division. Guardians are 2-8 in their last 10. They're lucky. They're lucky Detroit has gone 5-5. Lucky they've gone 5-5. Now, Minnesota, Cleveland, Kansas City all have gone 2-8 in their last 10. So nobody's playing really good ball in the division right now, but it might not matter because Detroit's got a 9-game lead on Minnesota, a 9.5-game lead on Cleveland, and they're up 11.5 on Kansas City. So it might not matter. That's why I thought, you know what, we'll throw this poll question out today. We're at the 70-game mark out of 162. July 4th is not that far away. That's about the halfway point. But when I went to bed last night, after that weekend in Seattle, I thought, this team's not even going to make the playoffs. And again, you've got that cushion. You've got that cushion of a possible wild card berth, okay? You got a cushion of the wild card berth. But the way they're playing now, forget it. The Guardians are 1, 2, 3. Yeah, here's the wild card standings right now in the American League. Okay, Yankees, Tigers, Astros, all winning their division. The first 3 teams in the hunt for the wild card: Tampa Bay, Toronto, Seattle. Then there's Minnesota, Boston, Texas, then Cleveland. Now, if you want to spin this thing to the positive, you could say, well, Cleveland's only a game out of the filed wild card berth. If you want to be glass half empty, I'll tell you, well, you'll have to pass 3 teams just to get there. So in theory, you look at that and it says, oh, you're only 1 game out. Well, there's 3 teams that you're going to have to pass at some point in time. Guardians are just not playing good ball right now. And I've been seeing some stuff on social media, and not just from, a bunch of loony bins. Some people think that Stephen Kwan's not going to be around. They think they're going to trade him off. Maybe at the trade deadline if things aren't working. I'm like, Stephen Kwan? You're going to trade Stephen Kwan? Obviously, you're not going to touch Jose. But Stephen Kwan and Jose Ramirez are like, them's our guys. That's our 1-2 punch. That's our dynamic duo. I mean, have things gotten that bad where people are talking in the realm of Stephen Kwan might be dealt in a move? That doesn't sit well with me either. Of course, the Red Sox just traded Rafael Devers over the weekend to San Francisco. We'll talk to Bob Nightengale from USA Today Baseball about that. Coming up here in about 4 or 5 minutes, we'll check in with Bob. But a lot of stuff going on in baseball this weekend. Indians not playing well. Yankees, Tigers, Stros atop their division. The Devers trade. Shohei Ohtani is going to start on the mound tonight for the Dodgers. Oh, man, I hope that game's on TV. I hope that game is on. I've got to find it. I think it might be on MLB Network tonight. I think. But see, a guy like Ohtani, I'm willing to fight through what I got to fight through to get this game and watch it tonight. He's the kind of guy that you'll stop doing what you're doing and you'll watch him bat. I want to see him pitch, and he's going to get the start tonight. They made that announcement yesterday. Dave Roberts from the Dodgers says Shohei will start Monday night's game. Now, the next thing I got to do is see what time that game is and who the Dodgers are playing. I believe they're still out on the West Coast, but I want to make sure. So this is probably going to be a late night game, but that's okay. I'll stay up to watch Shohei. Boy, could our Wi-Fi be any slower? I'm just asking. I mean, holy smokes.
I mean, it's faster than dial-up.
I mean, I have seen mice run in circles and get something accomplished faster than the Wi-Fi.
I mean, look, I know you remember dial-up because I remember dial-up.
I do.
So
I do. But it's 2025.
I know, but sometimes you just got to humble yourself and remember how bad you used to have it.
Well, you know what?
Just, come on.
No. Okay, 10-10 tonight. Padres in the Dodgers at 10-10. Now the next big question is, where can I find it on TV? Again, Bob Nightengale, USA Today Baseball, coming up here in just a minute on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Yeah, the Guardians. Can you imagine if they would trade Stephen Kwan? Ooh, that would sour the fan base big time. I mean, if you're a paying customer right now, who are you really plunking your money down to watch as far as the Cleveland Guardians are concerned? If somebody says, "Hey, let's go check the Guardians out against Team X or Team Y," okay, I'm going to come back with, okay, who am I paying to see besides Stephen Kwan and Jose Ramirez? And I'm probably going to hear silence on the other end of the call. It's gotten that bad. It really has. All right, lots of stuff going on in the baseball world. We'll talk Guardians coming up. The Rafael Devers deal. Shohei's on the mound tonight. Aaron Judge is just punishing baseballs. Let's bring in Bob Nightengale, outstanding baseball writer for USA Today Sports. Bob, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, good. Thanks for coming on today. I know you're busy. Let's get right to it. We'll talk about the Guardians in a minute if I can stomach it. The Rafael Devers trade, did that catch you off guard? And what do you make of that deal that happened over the weekend?
Yeah, it did. I think it caught everybody.
I think it
did because nobody knew he was available. I think if this happened during the winter, yeah. But I talked to a couple of GMs. They didn't even know he was being shot. I walked to the Padre clubhouse yesterday, right afterwards. They couldn't believe it. I had one of the when the guys call Devers for me and said, "Oh yeah, I just got traded." And but yeah, I think it caught the whole industry by surprise. It does remind you of the NBA with Doncic.
Yes.
To LA.
Yes.
Because there's no rumors about that either. Same thing. Yeah.
I was really surprised, and so I guess my follow-up would be, why did this happen? Why did they just signed him to that huge contract extension? Was this all money related? Has he been a little bit unhappy behind the curtain in Boston? Why did they do this deal?
Yeah, I think absolutely. They were he was unhappy with them, and they were infuriated at him. When he refused to go to first base, It's like, wait a minute now, we could use you. Bryan goes down. Hey, can you play third base for a little bit? Nope, not doing that either. Not taking ground balls there. And they said, man, we just gave you $313 million. You're supposed to be the face of the franchise, and you're not being a team guy. So behind the scenes, they were just seething, and then took advantage. And said, you know what? Let's move this guy and get him out of here.
And which was even more wild. They come off of taking care of the Yankees over the weekend. They got a little win streak going on. They're making their way up a little bit as far as the wild card is concerned, and they let this big trade happen. And talk about the haul in return that the Red Sox got from San Francisco.
I mean, not much. I mean, pretty much the big return was salary relief. So they saved themselves about $260 million. One good starting pitcher in Harrison. He's like fourth, fifth starter, maybe third at best. A middle reliever in Jordan Hicks. They had to get their number one draft choice from a year ago, and then a fringe prospect after that. So, it's pretty much set. Just saying, we're going to save about $260 million. They did take on Hicks contracts. They probably save more like $240, $235 million. It was pretty much just a salary relief. Okay, now let's see what they do with that money next winter.
No kidding. Usually something we don't talk about as far as the Boston Red Sox, and that's salary dumping, but they sure did it yesterday. Bob Nightengale is our guest, does a great job writing Baseball USA Today. Check him out. Has great stuff going every day. Check him out on social medias as well. Okay, I'm excited tonight, Bob. I'm sitting here in Northeast Ohio. I'm going to stay up extra late tonight. I'm going to watch Shohei Ohtani take the mound against the Padres. What should we look for tonight when he takes the mound for the first time since, coming off that surgery? And what's Dave Roberts hoping for?
Well, you won't have to stay up too late because he's only going to go one inning.
Oh, no.
So it's like this is his rehab.
Okay.
He's been pitching, a couple innings on the side, once a week. So I think the plan tonight is one inning. Next week, okay, maybe two. Week after that, three. Then you got the All-Star break and go from there. So this is like a little rehab assignment only against, in games that count.
What do you think that the time clock is on Shohei as to far as, get back full steam into that starting rotation? What are they looking at there, you think?
I think probably August. I mean, I think after the All-Star break, hey, if you give us, 4 innings and maybe 5, and after that 6, and then they'll probably put the brakes on. And they don't want him to throw 2 innings because they want him to be fresh for October after going through the misery they did a year ago when they only had 3 healthy arms for the starting rotation. So I think they'll be very, very cautious up until October. So, but yeah, I think after the All-Star break, eventually 5-6 innings.
That'll be something to look forward to. I mean, I obviously we love watching him hit, but you get the bonus now. Maybe you mentioned maybe like around August to get out there every 3 or 4 or 5 days, and we'll get to watch him do that. That's going to be great theater right there. All right, Bob, I put it off as long as I could. We got to talk Cleveland Guardians here. They had a very rough weekend in Seattle. Shut out again yesterday. I'm hearing rumors that possibly they're going to maybe move on from Stephen Kwan if the price is right here in the next couple of months, if they don't get things together. From your view, where you are, where do you sit with the Cleveland Guardians? They're right at 500, Bob, 35-35. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, disappointing, but so are the Minnesota Twins. So so it's so are the Kansas City Royals. So certainly a wild card spot is still open. The American League is down. The National League is so much better now. I've never seen such a disparity when the National League has been this much better than the American League. But yeah, I mean, you got to still hang in the hunt and go for it. Maybe guys come back like Cobb and those sort of things. So I don't see him being sold at the deadline. I really don't. I think it's either to stay pat, or make some mild improvements. So they're not that far. They're not that much further away than they were a year ago. A year ago, they caught everybody by surprise. But, hey, Minnesota doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere. KC's really hit the skids lately. So that's why I think it's, and that wild card spot is still wide open.
Yeah, the one thing, and I just mentioned before we brought you on, Cleveland, Minnesota, Kansas City, all 2-8 in their last 10. Even Detroit's cooled off a little bit. They're 5-5 in their last 10, but they still are 46-12 and 27, have a pretty big lead in their division. So you don't think the Guards will be sellers at the trade deadline then, right?
I really don't. I mean, just because the wild cards are wide open. It's not like you're playing in the National League West or something like that. When you look around, there's not that many good teams. Hey, Boston just surrendered by this trade. They're not. They should not make the playoffs after trading Wade Devers. You still got Tampa Bay in the mix, obviously. I mean, I don't even think Baltimore's out of it. I really don't.
Wow.
Despite being whatever 30-40 and just crazy things happen. When you look at the Nationals when they won the World Series, Atlanta when they won the World Series a few years ago, just horrendous starts. So I think milling around 500, they can still get back into this thing and get a playoff spot.
Interesting. You're giving us a little bit of hope there. Guardians 35-35. They open up a series tonight against San Francisco, and then they go to Sacramento to take on the A's before the Guardians finally come back home. Bob, you mentioned Baltimore. I am still kind of stunned at where they are, 30-40 after that unbelievable season they had last year. The injuries, what happened with Baltimore?
Well, I think just all those young kids are counting on kind of took a step back. A lot of those young kids are underachieving. And, where I put the blame on the front office, I thought it should be much more aggressive during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you got new ownership, spend some money here. So, and they made a nice, big short-term contract for Corbin Burns, and that was it. Got Sugano, who's they've been fortunate with him. He's pitched very well for him. But, Charlie Morton's, coming around now, but you just didn't try to get a big guy. Didn't try to get a Max Fried or some of these type of guys. And I think it's costing him. That being said, I still think they have enough firepower, to at least hang around.
Interesting. I'm looking at the division leaders now: the Yankees, the Tigers, and the Astros. Just to chop it up, Bob. Who's the more impressive, the most impressive out of that three right there?
I'm sorry, you said Astros and who?
Astros, Tigers, Yankees. They all lead their divisions. In your mind, who's the best of that bunch?
I might go Tigers.
Okay.
Obviously, you get the best pitcher on the planet in Skubal, and I just think they are very good. They don't have an MVP type candidate or anything like that. But what we saw in September of last year, they're kind of feeding off that. Yankees are solid even without Corbin Burns. Even without their stud Garrett Cole, and still a very good team. I think Houston's the worst of the three. I think the AL West is a lot more down than anybody expected. They're still a solid team, but I don't think they're a great team. I think it surprised a lot of folks, if they made the World Series.
Bob Nightengale, USA Today. Baseball does a tremendous job, Bob. We always appreciate your time, and enjoy the baseball and have a great rest of your week.
All right. You too. My pleasure. Thanks so much.
You bet. There he goes, Bob Nightengale from USA Today. Talk a little baseball here on 1310 WDPN. All right, we're going to step away here on the Sam Bourquin Show. We've officially got about 6 minutes till the top of the hour. We'll take your phone calls. We'll talk a little Guards. We'll talk a little baseball. You want to talk a little Shohei Ohtani, Rafael Devers trade? And our poll question of the day, the Cleveland Guardians will end up what? Winning the division, getting a wild card spot, missing the playoffs, or having a fire sale? We'll get those thoughts some more coming up. Stay with us.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really?
Giraffe. You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back. News and weather coming up here at the top of the hour. Thanks to Bob Nightengale, baseball writer for USA Today, joining us here on the program. Well, Bob thinks that the Guards are going to hang in there. He thinks they got a shot at getting a wild card. I don't know, man. I don't think so today. I might feel different tomorrow. You know, if they take 2 out of 3 in Frisco and they take 2 out of 3 against the A's, maybe I'll feel a little better. I don't know. Our poll question today, the Cleveland Guardians will end up what? A, winning the division, B, getting a wild card spot, C, missing the playoffs, or D, having a fire sale. Marcus says, I'm still holding out hope they'll win the division. I'm going to see the July 28th game. They better have their stuff together by then. Pat Murray says they will get a wild card spot. Eric says they will miss the playoffs, sadly. Sean says, yeah, they'll make the playoffs and then lose to the Yankees in the first round. Okay. All right. Tony the Roofer says, Sammy, the Guardians will miss the playoffs this year. Now, here's one that I saw. This is from Tommy Mack. He says they'll miss the playoffs. He believes Quan will probably get traded, possibly a pitcher or two. Everyone else is garbage anyway. Obviously, you hold on to Jose Ramirez. Alan Akron says C, they'll miss the playoffs. Carl Stacy, miss the playoffs. Walter says they'll do C and D. They'll miss the playoffs, and then they'll have a fire sale. Oh, boy, our Guardians, 35-35 here, 70 games into the season. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back after the news and weather, we'll continue to talk a little Guards baseball. We'll talk some MLB. We'll talk about the fantastic U.S. Open final half hour yesterday at Oakmont, and we'll check in on the NBA. Game 5 tonight. A lot of people forgot about it already. Well, that's what happens when you play once every 4 days. Game 5 tonight, Thunder Pacers. That's coming up as well. Lots more to come. Stay with us here. Check us out on social media. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Minnesota, suspected shooter Vance Bolter making his first appearance in court after his arrest. He's facing state and federal charges, including murder and attempted murder for the deaths of state lawmaker and her husband and wounding a state senator and his wife Saturday. Hennepin County District Attorney Mary Moriarty.
We are at early stages. We will be reviewing all of the evidence from law enforcement as it comes in and working with our law enforcement partners to develop the case. I do want people to know that given the scale of this investigation, the review of evidence will take time.
Federal prosecutors say Bolter allegedly stalked lawmakers and had a target list that crossed state lines. Israel says it has full control of Tehran's airspace and strikes today shutting down Iran's state media. Iran also launching more missiles toward northern Israel. On Wall Street, stocks are on a rally after oil prices ended lower despite the escalation in the Middle East. This is ABC News.
Hey, have you heard this? Macy's is previewing our lowest prices of the summer on furniture and mattresses now before the sale starts Thursday. That means early access to July 4th deals on beautiful outdoor furniture sets, customer favorites like the Radley Sectional, and top mattress brands like Sealy, all at 20 to 65% off. So get to Macy's now to save big, beat the rush, and give yourself more time to relax on your brand new furniture from Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. The Stark County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in finding the driver involved in a fatal hit-and-run crash. 39-year-old Sean Gates was hit just after 10:30 Sunday night in the 1600 block of Shepler Church Avenue Southwest in Canton Township. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect vehicle is believed to be a white sedan with front-end damage. Anyone with information is asked to call the Sheriff's Office at 330-430-3800 or the anonymous tip line at 330-451-3937. 4 people were shot in a Canton Township bar early Sunday. The Stark County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call at Ashton's Bar and Grill on 8th Street Northeast just before 3 a.m. The injuries to the 4 were described as non-life-threatening. The Sheriff's Office says no one at the scene provided any information. An investigation is continuing. Alliance City Council will be asked to approve a community reinvestment area for Robertson Heating Supply. Robertson is proposing a 93,000 square foot warehouse on West Main Street. It would lead to 20 new full-time and 5 part-time positions. The construction cost is $17 million. The original CRA with the company was adopted in July 2001. Council will also see legislation allowing the city to contract for the removal of exceptional quality biosolids from the wastewater treatment plant for land application. A proclamation will also be heard recognizing Randall Flint, who is retiring as health commissioner after 41 years. An investigation of the break-in of a home in Sebring yields 2 arrests. Police say a couple who said they are the caretakers for a house on Oregon Avenue flagged down an officer June 6th and said someone was inside. Smith Township Police were called for assistance. Officers searched the house and discovered a box cutter with blood on it, orange caps to syringes, and 2 non-functioning pen lights. They found a woman identified as Desiree Suter in the basement. She reportedly told officers she was there with a man who wanted to steal copper. Suter was arrested and charged with breaking and entering and possession of a controlled substance. A warrant was issued for Austin Marshall, who was wanted for failure to appear on a theft charge in Alliance. He was arrested Wednesday. Sentencing is scheduled June 23rd for a Uniontown man who pleaded guilty to charges of engaging in prostitution and possession of criminal tools. 25-year-old Tyler Forshey entered the pleas today in Columbiana County Municipal Court. He is a convicted felon on parole and registered as a Tier 2 sex offender. The Mahoning Valley Human Trafficking Task Force says Forshey responded to an online ad for sex posted by an undercover agent. He agreed to pay for a sex act and was arrested after he showed up at a prearranged meeting location in Salem Friday. The city of Salem and Perry Township are hoping to reach agreement on an annexation that will allow for the construction of a K-8 building. The school would be built on an approximately 90-acre farm on Winnery Road, which is currently in the township. The school district says the agreement must be completed by the second week of July to allow construction to begin and keep the building on track to open in July 2027. Certain plans and documents would have to be reviewed by the city utilities department before the annexation for the project to remain on track. That would have to be approved by city council. One person was taken to a hospital after they were shot in Youngstown this morning. Around 4:30, officers were called to the 100 block of East Avondale Avenue on the city's south side. WKBN-TV reports the victim sustained minor injuries. A car in a driveway was struck by several bullets. Shell casings were found in the street. Police continue to investigate. Youngstown police are investigating 2 shootings on the west side. Both took place Saturday just after 4 a.m. A man was taken to a hospital after being shot in the arm in the 300 block of North Maryland Avenue. His injuries were not life-threatening. About 3 hours later, shots were fired at a vehicle in the 100 block of North Portland Avenue. No one was hurt. Multiple shell casings were found at the scene. 47-year-old Jonathan Spikes was arrested and charged with felonious assault and a weapons count in the second incident. He was arraigned today in Youngstown Municipal Court. It's not clear if the shootings are related. The former Vienna Township fiscal officer charged with misappropriating public funds has pleaded guilty to all charges. A bench trial was to begin this morning for 55-year-old Linda McCullough. She reportedly rejected a plea deal in Trumbull County Common Police Court last week that would have included jail time. McCullough was indicted in November on charges including theft in office, tampering with records, and telecommunications fraud. She was accused of spending more than $116,000 in township funds on personal expenses. The missing money caused the township to lay off employees, including police and fire. The state auditor declared a fiscal emergency. McCullough will be sentenced July 22nd. A Trumbull County grand jury secretly indicted a Liberty Township man last week. 21-year-old Isaiah Short was arrested on 2 counts each of rape and gross sexual imposition. The indictment says Short had sexual contact by threat or force with someone unable to resist or agree. Assistant County Prosecutor Gabe Wildman tells WFMJ-TV the alleged victim is intellectually disabled. Short will appear in Trumbull County Common Police Court at a date to be determined. The Youngstown Air Reserve Station is in line for a new fire station. The Defense Department approved the $25 million project as part of the fiscal fiscal year National Defense Authorization. The Air Force Reserve says the 910th Airlift Wing at the Vienna Township facility is the only command unit training for aerial spray missions targeting vegetation and insects. The Air Reserve Station received $2.4 million for planning and design of the new fire station last year. It is transitioning to a new fleet of C-130J aircraft. It's 76 degrees in Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high around 79. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms for the early morning, a low near 66. Tuesday, a chance of showers, possibly a thunderstorm by early afternoon, a high of 79. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Want to cozy it up. Don't need to make it. 2 putts.
It is my honor to welcome the champion of the 125th United States Open with a score of 279, the Jack Nicklaus Gold Medal for the winner of the 125th U.S. Open goes to J.J. Spawn of Los Angeles, California.
Next pitch to Crawford. Fly ball, right field, back, gone! First Father's Day Grand Slam, J.P. Crawford.
Mauricio drives one deep to left field. Back goes Castro near the wall, and he can't make the play. Newby! Mauricio Dubon spikes the helmet. Back-to-back walk-offs for the Astros, 2-1.
It's to Happ. Line drive, base hit, right field. Brujan in, Cubs win. Ian Happ, your heroes. 2-2. Swing and a miss. The teal is for real. Another win. 25 in a row for Coastal.
And a wild sports weekend again. And with that, we welcome you into the Sam Bourquin Show right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Streaming live at the AM1310WDPN.com. You can check us out, watch, listen, WDPN Twitter page, Facebook page, and you can check us out right now as we wave to you on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Welcome into hour 2 of the Sam Bourquin Show. Sammy B here, Ryan Rainsberg over there. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. You can always text the program at 330-924-7088. Camp McKinley golf coach and does a great job down at the first tee. Bryan Herberghs is going to be joining us here in just a minute or so. What a weekend. Hope all the dads had a great Father's Day yesterday. The U.S. Open was fantastic. We'll get into that more. with Coach Herberghs coming up. The Guardians had a what was the old movie, Sleepless in Seattle? I can't even be cute about it. It was just a bad weekend. They got swept, lost all three. Now they're in San Francisco, and then they'll be heading down to Sacramento. So the long West Coast trip continues. You better win 4 out of your next 6, or this is going to be a long plane ride home back to the Midwest. All right, so we got the Guardians in a little free fall. We got a great finish for the U.S. Open yesterday. NBA Game 5, the finals tonight between the Thunder and the Pacers, 8:30 tip-off tonight. This is pivotal. Usually the Game 5 winner, and I said usually, the Game 5 winner goes on to win the series. So we'll see what's going on in OKC tonight for Game 5. High school spring sports have been wrapped up. Everybody gets to catch their breath, get away for about 2.5 months, and we'll get back at it here early August. The Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. The Cleveland Guardians will end up, A, winning the division, B, getting a wild card spot, C, missing the playoffs, or D, having a fire sale. You can take that quiz on all of our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, the YouTube channel. I want to thank USA Today baseball writer Bob Nightengale for joining us earlier in the program. All right, you know what? That U.S. Open, that was pretty good theater yesterday. It really was. And there really wasn't a name guy trying to get it done. There's no Scheffler. There was no DeChambeau. There was none of that. But it was just good theater. Let's bring on my good buddy, Bryan Herberghs, outstanding golf coach at McKinley, does a great job at the first tee of Canton. Thought we'd bring Coach on to dissect the Open and talk a little JJ Spawn here today. Coach Bergs, how you doing today, partner?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Sammy. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on today. I thought you'd be one of the fun guys to talk about. I'm not sure how much to the Open you watched over the weekend, but you are involved in golf almost 365 days a year, one way or the other. But what did you make of the entire U.S. Open tournament and then that crazy last 35 minutes at Oakmont yesterday?
So I go back and forth with this, and some people see it differently than I do, but I watch these guys week in and week out, and I struggle at times to watch the greatest players in the world, play like they did, over the weekend at Oakmont. And I know traditionally that's how the U.S. Open is always set up, and it challenges their game, but I think, like you had said earlier, just a little bit ago, the lack of the big names, on the leaderboard on Sunday, I'd be anxious to see what it did with the ratings, because, when I watch golf, I want to see them do their thing. I want to see them, go out there. I like them shooting, large numbers under par. And, when they were challenged by that rough and everything out of Oakmont and those greens, I kind of struggle with it a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see them get challenged, but I don't want to see carnage on the golf course. And I think for most of the weekend, man, I bet if the cleanup crew is probably still picking up bags and balls and people's wrists, and I mean it was, and that's they were kind of lucky, Bryan, because yesterday the weather got a little goofy. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday were not that bad, and the scores were still crazy high. They had that course tricked up like I have never seen. And you mentioned it's always been that way for the U.S. Open, but I can't remember it being that bad ever.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know that they always grow the rough long, but I don't remember, an open course in the last couple of years seeing, the rough like it was, like it was there. And, and I think it showed, that, the one point where, I can't even, I'm drawing a blank here or whatever, because it's late in the day and I've, been here at the first tee all day and this and that. But, when Shane Lowry picked his ball up off the green, because I think that, he got to the point where it's like, I'm just done with this,
yeah.
and you just kind of lose train of thought of what you're doing and everything. And boom, there he goes. Makes, like a mistake that you never see golfers make, just picks his ball right up off the green without marking it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Bryan Herberghs is our guest. Great job with the First Tee Canton, golf coach at Canton McKinley. Up and coming golf program, I may add. They're getting it together down there. So JJ Spawn, I'll be honest with you. I try to follow golf pretty closely, and it's usually the majors, but I'll watch some of the other tournaments if it's interesting. I didn't know who JJ Spawn was until Saturday at about 3:00 in the afternoon. And here he goes, and he goes out and wins the tournament. Who is JJ Spawn?
I mean, he's somebody that he's been around, for a while, and and when you think about it, it's almost like a lot of this happens at the U.S. Open. Somebody that you really do not expect to win the U.S. Open goes out and wins it. You just look at the past winners. I mean, I know DeChambeau, won it, but you look at some of the winners, and it is that no-name person because he came out, he was accurate with his drive. He was hitting fairways, which was the key, this week, because obviously you saw what happens if you miss the fairway. But even with that, he still didn't put up huge numbers because on top of the rough being the way that it was, the greens are just ridiculous out there.
Yeah, they were like glass. They were like cement. And the way the pin placements were, oh my gosh. It probably sounds to a lot of, boy, these guys are crying a lot about. Hey, it was really tricked up a little bit too much, I thought.
Listen, I mean, I handed to the guy, he on number 17, he hit the perfect drive on number 17.
Yeah.
Two putts for birdie, and then pushing on the green on 18. And then, Hovland showed him the line, so all I had to do was watch what Victor Ball did, and there you go, boom, knocks it in. I mean, yes, it was great theater, to see that happen, like that. So,
I gotta be honest with you. Saturday afternoon, or was it Sunday afternoon? The rain delay was yesterday.
Yeah, the rain delay was yesterday.
And there was, I'm not sure how long it lasted because we actually left the house for a little bit, but they went to the 2008 U.S. Open. They played her. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, I was as glued into that as I've been to anything. And it was from 2008. You know why? Because Tiger Woods was playing and he was making great shots and the crowd was going wild. What does that say about where we are with the PGA Tour right now?
Oh, listen, I will watch anything, with Tiger Woods. I'll watch every replay of every golf tournament that guy played. Because he was just fun to watch. He did things on the golf course that were just unbelievable. And it's funny. I've been talking about that with the kids today here at the First Tee. Because we've just been talking about getting better and practicing and this and that. And you think about the number of hours that Tiger Woods put in the game of golf, and and it just all showed every time he went out there. And he did things on the golf course, that nobody else would ever do. So
yeah, I found myself watching that, and I keep having to remind myself that it's probably never going to be that way again. I mean, some upstart some year will come through, maybe, and he'll grab our attention, and we'll watch every move. But there's no more Arnold Palmer, there's no more Jack, there's no more Seve, there's no more Gary Player, there's no more Watson, Weiskopf, Langer. Those days are long gone. And I think about, Scotty Scheffler. I thought he was on his way to having one of the greatest years ever. And he's, I'm not to say that he's not playing well. He still is a great golfer. But to me, when Tiger went away, it just lost so much luster. And I'm really having a hard time falling back in love with it again. You know what I mean?
And and it's funny that you say that, because like I said, I coach golf at McKinley. I'm down here at the First Tee. Everything I do is the game of golf. And, I'll watch the tournaments, look sparingly here and there on the weekend, but I still have that fact, like I love to watch Tiger Woods play golf. And that's what would draw me to the TV, is to watch him play. And without him being out there, and it's not that I don't like these other guys, because there's some players that I do that I like out there. I like Victor Hovland.
Sure.
Okay. But, but there was just something about that Tiger factor every time he stepped on the course.
Yeah, he changed it. He transcended the game of golf, and like I said, I don't think we're going to be lucky enough to ever see that again. Hey, I was mentioning we wrapped up the spring sports season as far as the OHSAA is concerned, and so we're in the middle of June, and I know high school golf, Brian, you guys are now starting in the end of July now?
July 29th is the first day that we're allowed to have tryouts. Actually, it's the first day that we're allowed to compete. So July 29th is the date. So,
that is unbelievable to me. It really is.
I know.
It's kind of crazy to be honest, but that's where we're at, I guess.
But what it comes down to though is like the earlier they start it makes things easier for us as golf coaches at times for golf course availability, because once the school year starts and we're in school till 2:30 or whatever, and we're fighting those leagues at all the courses, it makes it hard for us to get out there. So if we can start our season early, get a bunch of matches in early August before the school year starts, when we can go out and tee off at 10 o'clock in the morning for a golf match, then it makes life a whole lot easier.
So I know you guys are down in Spring Valley, right?
Yes,
that's your home course. I know some other schools have had a little trouble finding or holding on to courses lately, but at least you're in good shape there. Hey, before we let you go, you guys are starting to come along a little bit. I know it was a struggle there for a little bit, but how's the McKinley golf program now, and where do you see it going here, next 2, 3, 5 years?
Well, I mean, we've got, so obviously I've got, my number one player, Tommy Mankowski, who's also the kicker for the McKinley Bulldogs football team. And it's just been, it's been fun to watch Tommy over the last couple of years. He made it out of the sectional tournament to the districts last year, which was like the first time in about 20 years that a McKinley golfer had made it to the district golf tournament. So I'm hoping, that people see, the little, even though a lot of times it's, individual success, that, more people will want to come out and, and play the game, and obviously, coaching at McKinley, I battle McKinley's a football and it's a basketball school. Okay. And, that's what it's been for years, so sometimes trying to get, some of these other kids out there to play what they call the so-called, like secondary sports. I mean, it's difficult at times, but, hey, we're working on it. I go out, I do my, recruiting within the school to, try to get kids out there and just tell them like, hey, we have fun, this is what you can do. And, so it's, it's been working numbers wise. I've been good. I think I had 10 or 11 kids on the team last year, lost 5 or 6 seniors, that had played pretty much all 4 years of high school. So it's, they're enjoying it, and I'm just going to keep doing what I can do to build the program.
Bryan Herberghs is our guest, does a great job with the Camp McKinley golf team, and also really does a nice job with all the things going on at the First Tee Canton. I get to talk to a lot of coaches and a lot of people around golf. I had Jimmy Hamlin on the show last weekend, and I always kind of work a question in of, the interest level in golf for, say, kids starting at maybe like age 10 or 11, going through high school and maybe, their early college years. The interest level, what do you see maybe as far as the First Tee? Are numbers up with the programs? Is the interest there? How's that been going for you on the big scale of things?
I mean, I think the interest is there. Numbers here, it's kind of like a roller coaster. Some years they're up, some years they're down. It's just, it goes in waves. When I try to emphasize to the kids as far, because kids are involved in so many things. I see it down here. I talk to these kids. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I've got basketball camp, this and that. They're involved in so many different things, and I'll never, discourage a kid from playing baseball, playing basketball, football, because I want them to try it all, and figure out what they like to do the most. But I do try to emphasize that one point that it's like, okay, when you get out there to be my age, in your early to mid 50s or whatever, there's one sport that you can just continue to play with no problems, that's the game of golf. You can't go put on the football pads and play football anymore, or out there playing basketball, this and that. It's like, golf is something you can play for the rest of your life. And that's why I love it. And that's why, I do spend so much time around the game. So
good stuff. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy today, doing your thing at the first tee, and good luck with the upcoming golf season, and try to enjoy the PGA Tour as best as you can without our guy Tiger out there. All right.
Oh, I definitely will, Sammy. I appreciate it.
You bet. There he goes. Bryan Herberghs, Camp McKinley Golf, also does a great job with the first tee as well. Yeah, I think we all kind of feel the same way. No Tiger, we just don't run to the TV like we used to. I mean, Rory, okay, interesting. Scotty Scheffler, interesting. Some of the other guys, but it's not must see. It's not appointment. And again, we'll probably never get there, but that is so bizarre. I found myself yesterday when the storms and the rain got really bad at Oakmont. NBC cut away. They showed the 2008 U.S. Open. And it was a Tiger Woods highlight film. And I was glued to the TV like I had never seen it before. 2008, quick math. That was 17 years ago. And I was hanging on every shot. We'll never see that again. We'll never see it again. I don't know who the next upstart's going to be. And who knows, maybe Scotty Scheffler goes on an unbelievable tear. And maybe he wins, 3 out of the next 4 majors or 2 out of the next 4 majors for the next 5 or 10 years. I don't know. I can't predict the future. But all I know is, man, I miss the red polo and the black pants on Sunday afternoons. And I think a lot of you do too. All right. Thanks to Coach Herberghs for joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Phone lines are now open for you if you want to get in. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Don't forget, check us out. Follow us, share, like all of our social media platforms, 1310 WDPN, and, of course, Q92 Sports as well. We'll take a break. News and weather coming up. We'll be right back.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. An unsealed federal affidavit has revealed more details about Vance Bolter, now in custody and facing federal and state charges after allegedly shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses, killing one of the couples. ABC's Faith Abube has more from Minnesota.
We're now learning that the suspect allegedly visited 4 lawmakers, the homes of 4 lawmakers here in Minnesota, instead of the 2 that we've been reporting since the weekend. In fact, the first lawmaker's home that he allegedly visited was that state senator who is now still in the hospital, along with his wife in critical condition, or actually were critically wounded in that shooting.
Israel struck Iran's state-run television station during a live broadcast, forcing a reporter to run off camera following an explosion after Iran fired a new wave of missiles at Israel that killed at least 8 people. Israel warned hundreds of thousands of people in the middle of Tehran to evacuate today ahead of the strike against the TV station, which the military said provided a cover for Iranian military operations. The warning came on the 4th day of the conflict, when the Israeli military claimed it had achieved air superiority above the Iranian capital and could fly over the city without facing major threats. The warning affected up to 330,000 people. The U.S. Navy is positioning more assets closer to Israel to assist in its defense. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
A U.S. official confirms the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz will now head without delay from the Western Pacific to the Middle East, joined by 3 destroyers in the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group. Currently, 2 Navy destroyers in the eastern Mediterranean, not far from Israel, are capable of bringing down medium-range and long-range ballistic missiles. A source tells ABC News more ships equipped with missile defense systems may soon arrive in the coming days and weeks. They would join a large number of mid-air refueling tankers that have just been sent to the region.
President Trump is at the G7 summit today in Alberta, Canada, and started his day talking to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Among the topics discussed, the tariffs that the U.S. imposed on certain Canadian imports.
I'm a tariff person. I've always been a tariff. It's simple, it's easy, it's precise, and it just goes very quickly. And I think Mark has a more complex idea, but also very good.
It's 77 degrees in Alliance at 432. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For this afternoon, mostly cloudy skies and a high around 79. For the overnight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms during the early morning hours. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a low near 66. Tuesday, another possibility of showers and thunderstorms during the late morning and early afternoon, a high of 79. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Looking for something fun to do this summer? Come out to Copeland Oaks for our annual Classic Cruise-In on Sunday, July 27th. Gates open at 10 a.m. with registration until 1. Enjoy free food, music, and lots of fun. Join us Sunday afternoon, July 27th for the Cruise-In on the Copeland Oaks Retirement Campus, just off Route 62 near Sebring. $5 registration for classic vehicles. All proceeds benefiting a local charity. Dash plaques and trophies will be awarded for classic cars. Copeland Oaks, family fun.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, we're back on the program, 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. I'm just talking to my producer during the little break we had there. And Ryan had asked me about, did I watch any of the Star Wars? And I'm like, well, oh, yeah, man, when I was growing up. The original, which was in, what was that, 77?
77.
Yep. And then Empire Strikes Back. Now, that came out in, what, 81?
Yeah, it's 77,
Somewhere.
81, 83
And
is what
Jedi
I want to
was
say.
83, maybe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
83, 84.
That sounds right.
And then there was the break. And then George Lucas was like, oh, no, we've got a lot more. Okay. So then the Phantom Menace comes out. And I was so excited. And we went to the theater. I forget who I saw it with. And I'm like, no, you lost me. I'm done. And I never went back. That was it. Phantom Menace was it. So there's been, what, 9 of them?
Yeah, we're on 9 movies in the main line. Yeah.
Wow. And what was the last one? Like the last one to come out in the theater.
God, give me a sec. It's either The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker. I can never remember because if I'm being honest, 8 and 9 are pretty god awful.
Was there something along the Attack of the Clones or something?
Yeah, that is the second one of the prequel trilogy.
So that was after Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Okay, so at least I remember that much.
Wait, is it? Yeah, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, so Sith was the last of the.
Is my brain not working now?
I don't know. It was just a random conversation. I don't even know how we got on it.
No, I'll tell you exactly how we got on it because you whistled the Imperial March, and I was like, oh, he's a Star Wars fan.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da, da. Yeah, you
Now,
whistle
why would
that.
I be doing that?
I don't know.
I do
it
strange
sometimes.
things for no
It's
reason.
it is a catchy tune. You're
I mean-
not wrong to be whistling it.
I mean, jeez Louise. Oh, I'm sitting over here humming the. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing. But anyway, yeah, the first 3 Star Wars movies that came out, man, I was all in, hands down. I may even have some laying around the house.
My
DVD, I think, or maybe I might even have VHS. Just somewhere laying around the house. I'll never watch them again, but I think we still have them.
My mom does. She's a purist. She because she hates all the remakes and the re-edits of the original 3, so she has the original copies of the original tapes without any of the later additions via George Lucas.
You know what's amazing is, and I don't know how this came to be, but it was TNT, TBS. They continually run all those movies like all the time. Like Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, they run them all the time. And people still must tune in to watch them, or they wouldn't play them as much as they do. Now,
I still watch them.
The only bad thing is they take forever because there's commercials. Okay, I'm not doing that. But yeah, they run them like crazy. Like they'll do weekends, and they'll just run them all 3 back to back to back to back, and people must eat it up because, like I said, if people weren't watching them in big numbers, they wouldn't be showing them like that. But yeah, 77 Star Wars. My dad took me to would it be the McKinley Theater, 30th Street, I believe.
What is that called? Is that the Bistro one?
No. This is on 30th Street between Cleveland and Market.
I should be quiet. This was 77. I have no idea
you weren't
what
even
I'm talking about.
You weren't even alive.
I'm gonna close my mouth.
Okay. So I think it was the McKinley Theater, and I think there was only two screens there. And my dad took me, I think it was the winter of 77. I remember it was cold. I love that movie. I had already started collecting cards. So I said, "Hey, Dad, look, I got this card. That scene right there. That's, yeah." And then, what was this? Return of the Empire Strikes Back.
Everybody's favorite.
Saw that one at then Millette Mall when they had their movie theater, the General Cinema, inside the mall. Went there. Now, I was with 2 or 3 of my good friends back then. I think we got dropped off at the theater and then somebody picked us up. And then Return of the Jedi, saw that one. Boy, I'm really dating myself here. I saw that one at the Gold Circle Cinema, where Fathead Brewery and Mally's and where Dick's Sporting Goods was for so long. That's where I saw Return of the Jedi. And that was really cool. And then, like I said, we went a couple of years later and saw, the first of the prequel, The Phantom Menace, and I was like, I'm done, tapping out. But those were fun days, man. Those movie theaters back then. And look, there was no reclining lounges. There was no Dolby. There was no what's the IMAX. There was none of that stuff. It was the place would smell of popcorn and cigarette smoke. That's all there was. Okay. But man, I loved going to the movies as a kid. We didn't go a lot. We really didn't. Now I started going a lot with friends once I got a little bit older, and moms and dads were driving us around to theaters, or A lot of my friends right at 16, they got their license. So I would, hey, pick me up. I'll go to the movie. So there was a lot of that going on, but which is weird because we go quite a bit now. And we probably hit the theater, I don't know, 2-3 times a month, maybe. Still love going to the theater. Of course, the movie theaters now are so nice.
They're
so
too nice.
Comfortable. I mean,
too comfortable.
Like you can honestly, I'm pretty sure I have fallen asleep in a couple of movies the last several years because you're just so comfortable. You tilt back in that lounger and you close your eyes, no matter how, like it could be a scene from Twister in an IMAX theater, but you're so comfortable, you fall right asleep. You really could. But we love going to the movies. We, like I said, we go 2-3 times a month. And of course, now my wife doesn't go as much as me and our son go because we're into the horror movie thing. So we go to a lot more. She doesn't like going to those. She did go to Final Destination, and I think that probably turned her off for the next year and a half or two.
That's fair.
So it'll be us. We're, we can't wait for a lot of the Halloween type movies. The Strangers part, whatever, is coming out pretty soon. Nobody 2 is coming out. We went and saw Ballerina a couple of weeks ago, the John Wick spinoff, which was really good. So we're excited. But yeah, how we got on the Star Wars thing, I don't know. How I even started humming Star Wars, I don't know. But I was. And there it just escalated into a conversation.
You can't whistle the Imperial March around me because my inner child brain goes, oh my God, I can talk about Star Wars.
Hey, I'll talk Star Wars. I'll talk Star Wars anytime. Hey, our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day revolving around the Cleveland Guardians. And it's pretty simple. The question, the Cleveland Guardians will end up A, winning the division, B, getting a wild card spot, C, completely missing the playoffs, or D, having a fire sale. Great response today, as always. From Russ. Sam, I think they're going to miss the playoffs and have a fire sale. Santana needs to be traded, and the combination of Naylor and Hedges has never worked. Thomas should be gone along with Junis, and I hope we get rid of Seawald. Well, he wants to get rid of everybody. Right now, we are far from a playoff team. Michael Lanzo. Hello, Michael. He says C and D. They will miss the playoffs, and they will have a fire sale. Hopefully, he says they will spend money. Probably not going to happen. Jeff Harlow says, A, they're going to actually win the division. All right, Jeff. I hope so. Mike says, Sam, they're going to have a fire sale. Unfortunately, here's another one. I'm afraid Quan will not make it through the season. He will be moved at some point. Dan Tabellion says, doing the same bleep they always do. It's so frustrating being a fan of this team. Popper says, a fire sale of what? He's got a good point. I mean, who on the Guardians would anybody want besides Quan and Jose Ramirez? Think about that. Answer that question. That should tell you all you need to know about where this team is. I'm not even sure how many guys are on a roster now. Is it still 25? I know you get to call up 40 in September, but let's just say 25. Out of all the guys on our team, who would anybody want besides Jose and Quan? Serious question. And a frightening answer. That's frightening. Jimmy Kincaid says B, they'll get a wild card spot. I hope so. Dougie and the PTO, they'll miss the playoffs and possibly have some kind of a fire sale. Sam Bourquin Show quiz. What will the Guardians do? What will they end up? Will they end up winning the division to get a wild card, miss the playoffs, or will they have a good old-fashioned fire sale? Drop us your comments on all of our social media platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on our YouTube channel. Or you can ring in at 330-821-1310. Guardians, by the way, lost over the weekend to the Mariners. They dropped all three. Didn't even score a run yesterday. I don't believe they got somebody as far as second base yesterday. I could be wrong. I thought I heard that stat thrown out. They didn't even get a runner to second base. That's pathetic. That is pathetic. That's not fun to watch. That's excruciating. When your offense, A, they don't score, B, they don't hit, and if you happen to get a walk or a hit batsman, you can't even get him to second base. 35-35 on the year, 9.5 behind Detroit in the division. And the wild card, they're in a whole slew, okay? Wild card right now, Tampa, Toronto, Seattle. Those are your wild card teams. And then there's a big bunch of Minnesota, Boston, Texas, Cleveland, Kansas City, and the Angels, all kind of fighting for that wild card. There's 162 total. We've played 70. Is this who the Cleveland Guardians are? This trade deadline is going to be beyond interesting to me. Because at some point, a couple of days leading up to, the conversations are going to get a little bit louder. Do you even think about moving a guy like Stephen Kwan? See, no matter in how bad a shape you're in, to me, Kwan and Jose Ramirez, you're never getting them from me. I'm never going to give those guys up. Never. That's all you have. As an organization, if you expect people to come and plunk their hard-earned money down, that's all you have. When you go to games at Progressive Field, what do you see? Hosey jerseys and Kwan jerseys. That's it. You see a couple of Manzardos. You see a couple of Bo Nailers. That's it. That's it. And I'm telling you, if you would move off of Stephen Kwan, now I don't think they'll ever get rid of Jose Ramirez, and they better not. But if they get rid of Kwan, they're pretty much telling you, we got no chance. We're out of it. No can do. People will lose their minds. Guards and Giants tomorrow night, 9:45. Robbie Ray and Slade Ciccone out at the beautiful ballpark in San Francisco. The conversations are going to have to be had here pretty soon. They're going to have to be had. Okay? What are they going to do? What are the Cleveland Guardians going to do? 232 batting average, 374 slugging percentage. Their OPS is 678. They've stolen 56 bases. They've hit 72 home runs. Their pitching, their team ERA is almost at 4. That doesn't seem real, but I'm looking at it. The team earned run average is 3.99. The team whip is 1.36. That's 23rd. That's not good. They've given up 76 home runs. Fielding percentage is 982. That's not very good. That's 26th in the league. Again, you're 35-35, 16-20 away, 2-8 in your last 10. You've lost your last 3. And the Giants aren't screwing around. They just made that big trade with the Boston Red Sox for Rafael Devers, who's hitting 272, got 15 home runs, got a bucket of RBI. They're not playing. They're trying to catch the LA Dodgers. You think they're not going to come out with some juice against the Guardians in this series? Let's just say the Giants take 2 out of 3. Maybe they sweep. Now, you're going to go to Sacramento. You're going to play the Oakland. See, I almost called them the Oakland A's. You're going to take on the Nomad A's, who are not very good. They're 23. What are they? 33 and 37. Not horrible, but not great. Conversations are going to have to be had. And what is the front office going to do? What are you going to do? The division probably is not going to happen. Are you going to make a run at a wild card? Or do you think this team just can't do it? And you start to retool, you reshape for next year. Quan, don't touch him. Ramirez, don't touch him. I'll give you Santana. I'll give you Arias. I love Gabby Arias, but I'm getting close. Manzardo, Angel Martinez, Nolan Jones, Bo Naylor, Daniel Schneemann. You can have any of those guys. Lane Thomas, Rocchio's down in the minors, Austin Hedges, Will Wilson, Rodriguez, Nunez. You can have them. You can have them. But as soon as you start to hint that you're going to wave that white flag, boy, the people will turn in a hurry. Good luck getting people to come to the ballpark once that happens. We'll take a break. 4:54 here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. You can text the show anytime at 330-924-7088. Much more to come here on 1310 WDPN.
Don't miss the Canton Concert Band live at the Canton Palace Theater, Wednesday, June 18th at 7 p.m. Experience the power and passion of one of the area's oldest musical ensembles, and admission is free. Join us for an unforgettable night of all your favorite patriotic pop, show tunes, and more when the Canton Concert Band takes the stage this Wednesday at 7 with their free concert for the community at the historic Canton Palace.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing, to get the help you need, to find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
At YMCA Summer Camp, kids find their why. Friendship and fun, a world of adventure beneath a golden sun. Running, laughing, full of wonder. Being themselves is second nature. Summer camp is where they begin to unlock the confidence that lies within. When kids find new passions, they find their why. Summer camp season starts soon. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, we've got about 3 minutes until we get you to the top of the hour with all the latest news and weather to keep your Monday going. Boy, I was looking at the forecast. Where did I write this down? Where did I write it down? Here we go. Starting this coming Saturday, we are going into the sauna box as far as the weather is concerned. We've had some humid days and humid nights lately. I kind of cooled down last night. It's pretty manageable today. But I was looking at the short term. Tomorrow, 77. A 50-50 shot at storms tomorrow. 83 Wednesday. Looks like rain on Thursday, 77. 82, partly cloudy, and then we heat up. 88 on Saturday, 92 on Sunday, 94 on Monday, 94 on Tuesday, 89 on Wednesday. Then we start to cool down a little bit. But this is going to be our first big slam of summer coming up as far as the heat and the humidity is concerned. So I'll take it, though. I'll take it. I used to be the guy, get out of here with that, but I'll tell you what, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. All I have to do is think of 17 below wind chill and utterly freezing into a piece of stone while pumping gas on the corner. And I'm like, nope, I'll take it. I'll take the heat and the humidity, and I'll make the best of it. Because sure as I sit here, the middle of June, it'll be the third week in December, and we'll be chattering our teeth. Okay, so take the good stuff while we got it. I want to thank my guest today, Bob Nightengale, USA Today baseball writer, does a great job, and I want to thank Bryan Herberghs from First Tee Canton and the head golf coach over at Canton and McKinley. We got the Sam Bourquin Show poll question. We've got On This Day in Sports History. We'll break down Game 5, Thunder Pacers. We'll take another quick peek back at the U.S. Open yesterday, and we'll have some fun here on this Monday afternoon. One more big hour to go. Hang out with us here on 1310 WDPN.
News, weather, sports, local information, and music 24 hours a day. This is AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. At the G7 summit in Canada, President Trump says he remains confident a peace deal can be reached between Israel and Iran despite escalating airstrikes. But Israel's prime minister, not as confident. In an ABC News exclusive, Jonathan Karl spoke to Benjamin Netanyahu, accusing Iran of holding fake talks.
They're working secretly to rapidly weaponize this. In a few months, they would have nuclear bombs. That's what they want to do. They want to continue stringing the U.S. along, build up those weapons. They don't want a seat at the table. They want to blow up the table. Specifically, they want to blow up Israel.
The Pentagon now moving more Navy resources to the Middle East, and the State Department has issued a no-travel warning for all of Israel. In Minnesota, Vance Belter is facing state and federal charges for the shooting deaths of a state lawmaker and her husband, along with injuring another state lawmaker and his wife. Authorities say the shooter had a long target list of lawmakers. And on Wall Street today, stocks sending up. This is ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 5:02. A local doctor has been sentenced to 3 years probation. Dr. Priyanka Mude of Lake Township was handed the punishment today by Stark County Common Pleas Judge Frank Forcioni. She pleaded guilty to aggravated possession of drugs, forgery, and illegal processing of drug documents. The grand jury indicted Mude in April. Prosecutors say she wrote prescriptions for oxycodone and admitted to forging a physician's signature on a peer reference form when she applied for a position. The activity occurred between July 2022 and October 2023. Mude's license to practice podiatric medicine was suspended by the state medical board in February, but was later reinstated with probationary status. Her North Canton podiatry practice closed in January 2024 and reopened months later. A hit-and-run crash in Canton Township Sunday night left a man dead. The Stark County Sheriff's Office says 39-year-old Sean Gates was hit in the 1600 block of Shepler Church Avenue Southwest just after 10:30. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in finding the driver. The vehicle is believed to be a white sedan with front-end damage. Anyone with information is asked to call the Sheriff's Office at 330-430-3800 or the anonymous tip line at 330-451-3937. The Stark County Sheriff's Office is investigating a Sunday morning shooting in Canton Township. 4 people were injured in the incident at Ashton's Bar and Grill on 8th Street Northeast. Deputies were alerted by a 911 call just before 4 a.m. None of the injuries were life-threatening. The Sheriff's Office says no one at the scene provided information about the shooter. Alliance City Council meets tonight. Among items on the agenda, a proclamation recognizing Randall Flint, who is retiring as City Health Commissioner after 41 years. Council will also consider approval of a community reinvestment area for Robertson Heating Supply. The original CRA with the company was adopted in July 2001. Robertson is proposing a $17 million warehouse on West Main Street. It would cover 93,000 square feet and is expected to lead to 20 new full-time and 5 part-time positions. Other legislation would allow the removal of exceptional quality biosolids from the wastewater treatment plant for land use. Sebring police say 2 people were arrested after breaking into a home. On June 6th, an officer was flagged down by a couple who said 2 people were inside an Oregon Avenue home for which they are caretakers. Smith Township police were called in for assistance and officers searched the house. They found a box cutter with blood on it, orange caps to syringes, and 2 non-functioning pen lights. Officers also discovered a woman identified as Desiree Suter in the basement. Police say she told them she was there with a man who wanted to steal copper from the home. Suter was arrested and charged with breaking and entering and possession of a controlled substance. A warrant was issued for Austin Marshall. He was arrested Wednesday. Marshall was also wanted for failure to appear on a theft charge in Alliance. A Uniontown man has pleaded guilty to charges resulting from a sex sting in Salem. 25-year-old Tyler Forshee entered the plea today in Columbiana County Municipal Court to engaging in prostitution and possession of criminal tools. Sentencing is scheduled for June 23rd. The Mahoning Valley Human Trafficking Task Force says Forshee responded to an online ad for sex posted by an undercover agent. He agreed to pay for a sex act and was arrested Friday after he showed up at a prearranged meeting location. Forshee is a convicted felon on parole and registered as a Tier 2 sex offender. The construction of a new K-8 building for Salem City Schools is dependent on an annexation agreement with Perry Township. The school district says the agreement must be completed by the second week of July to allow construction to begin and keep the building on track to open in July 2027. Certain plans and documents would have to be reviewed by the City Utilities Department before the annexation for the project to remain on track. That would have to be approved by City Council. The school would be built on an approximately 90-acre farm on Winnery Road, which is currently in the township. Two shootings took place on Youngstown's west side Saturday around 7 p.m. Shots were fired at a vehicle in the 100 block of North Portland Avenue. No one was hurt. Multiple shell casings were found at the scene. 47-year-old Jonathan Spikes was arrested and charged with felonious assault and a weapons count. He was arraigned today in Youngstown Municipal Court. 3 hours earlier, a man was shot 1 block away in the 300 block of North Maryland Avenue. He was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Youngstown police haven't said if the two incidents are connected. They are investigating. The 11th District Court has denied the appeal of a former Akron police officer serving prison time for a child pornography conviction. 34-year-old Jeffrey Parker was sentenced in November to 24 to 28 years. He pleaded guilty in Trumbull County Common Pleas Court to charges of pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor, illegal use of a minor in nudity-oriented material, gross sexual imposition, and pandering obscenity. Prosecutors said Parker took nude photos of a 4-year-old girl in Wethersfield Township and posted them to an online chat room. Among other things, he argued his sentence is disproportionate compared to similar offenders. The appeals court ruled Parker's case was without merit. A Liberty Township man faces multiple charges. 21-year-old Isaiah Short will appear in Trumbull County Common Pleas Court at a date to be determined. He was arrested last week after a grand jury secretly indicted him on 2 counts each of rape and gross sexual imposition. The indictment says Short had sexual contact by threat or force with someone unable to resist or agree. Assistant County Prosecutor Gabe Wildman tells WFMJ-TV the alleged victim is intellectually disabled. Approval has been granted for a new fire station at the Youngstown Air Reserve Station. $2.4 million was received last year for planning and design of the project. The Defense Department approved the $25 million project as part of the fiscal year National Defense Authorization. The air station is transitioning to a new fleet of C-130J aircraft. The Air Force Reserve says the 910th Airlift Wing at the Vienna Township facility is the only command unit training for aerial spraying missions targeting vegetation and insects. A former Ohio doctor who was fired before being found not guilty of murder charges in the deaths of 14 patients has lost a defamation lawsuit against his former employers. A judge in Columbus dismissed former Dr. William Kuzel's lawsuit today. He was seeking over $18 million from Michigan-based Trinity Health and Mount Carmel Health System in Ohio. He is weighing an appeal. Kuzel was fired in 2018. Mount Carmel said he ordered excessive painkillers for about 3 dozen patients. Kuzel maintained he was trying to help patients deal with pain. A jury cleared him of murder charges in 2022. Flash flooding over the weekend claimed the lives of 6 people in Ohio County, West Virginia, with search efforts ongoing for 2 others missing. Communities such as Elm Grove, Triadelphia, and Valley Grove are in recovery mode as residents begin the task of cleaning up. Emergency crews resumed operations in Elm Grove early this morning, focusing on search and rescue missions. The flooding has left a trail of destruction, with many homes lost and vehicles destroyed. National Road into Triadelphia is lined with debris, a reminder of the fast-moving waters that swept through the area. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 42,476, up 279 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 294 points higher at 19,701. And the S&P 500 closed at 6,026, up 50 points. It's 76 degrees and Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Aerial Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly cloudy skies for the remainder of your Monday afternoon with a high near 79. For tonight, mostly cloudy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms during the early morning hours, a low around 66. Tuesday, a chance of showers, possibly a thunderstorm by early afternoon, a high of 79. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suit? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives, from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Cozy it up. Don't need to make it. 2 putts.
It is my honor to welcome the champion of the 125th United States Open with a score of 279, the Jack Nicklaus Gold Medal for the winner of the 125th U.S. Open goes to J.J. Spawn of Los Angeles, California.
Next pitch to Crawford. Fly ball, right field, back, gone! First Father's Day Grand Slam, J.P. Crawford.
Mauricio drives one deep to left field. Back goes Castro near the wall, and he can't make the play. Newby! Mauricio goodbye, spikes the helmet. Back-to-back walk-offs for the Astros, 2-1.
Pitch to Happ. Line drive, base hit, right field. Brujan in, Cubs win. Ian Happ, your hero. 2-2. Swing and a miss! The Teal is for real. Another win. 25 in a row for Coastal.
Unfortunately, we have no Guardians highlights for our show open package today. There were none. When you get shut out 6-0, there are no highlights. Welcome in to the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world. You can listen to us anywhere, anytime, at your leisure. 1310WDPN.com. Hi to our friends watching and listening on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Hope all the dads had a great Father's Day yesterday. Hopefully you got to relax, watch a little golf, maybe play a little golf, do a little yard work, a little barbecue on the patio, get the grill going. Hope you got to do all that yesterday. And back to work today. Had a good day yesterday. Got the yard mowed. We all went over to Fun Times Fun Park yesterday. Had a little miniature golf.
You feel that? Yeah, I feel it.
Went to Jalisco Mexican restaurant over here on State Street in Alliance. That was really cool.
Sam, I'm gonna give you a hand here, just in case there's any people in Alliance who are perturbed by this. I think it's Jalisco's.
Oh, Jalisco.
It's a soft J.
Oh,
yes.
Well, you know what? I've never been there.
No.
I don't want to call it something that it's not. So Jalisco.
Yes, Jalisco.
Okay, so we went to Jalisco yesterday, and we had a great time. Then we got home. I was able to watch the last 45 minutes, hour of the U.S. Open. Fantastic theater. J.J. Spawn with the walk-off 65-foot putt. as the rain was coming down at Oakmont Country Club? Fantastic. Good for him. You know, that putt was worth about $4.5 million. Good for him. Got his major. He's set, man. He is set and ready to go. That was a good golf tournament. It wasn't a great golf tournament. It was a good golf tournament. I think the playing conditions and the course conditions had a lot to do with it. You didn't find any big names coming down the stretch yesterday. But a walk-off at the U.S. Open from 65 feet in the rain, it doesn't get much better than that. So good for J.J. Spawn. Good for him. I'm seeing this on social media. I don't know. I think Jeff is still here. Jeff, if you want to pop in the studio. I've seen on a couple of different places that the Dressler-Everhard intersection out in Belden is closed. Now, this was about an hour and 15 minutes ago. I don't know if it's still that way now, but not a good time of the day for that to happen. So maybe you might still want to avoid that area if you can. Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. The Cleveland Guardians will end up A, winning the division, B, getting a wild card spot, C, missing the playoffs, D, having a fire sale. Most of you believe that the team is just going to miss the playoffs. A few think that they'll get a wild card spot. Nobody thinks they're going to come back and win the division. And a few people think that they'll actually maybe have a little fire sale around the trade deadline. Now, I just came across, I think our good friend Buck in Louisville sent this over. And I told you, I've seen it at a couple of places. There are starting to be whispers that Stephen Kwan could be on the move from the Cleveland Guardians. And like I said a couple hours ago when we opened the show, there's two guys on this team that you are not touching if I'm in charge. You're not touching Stephen Kwan, and you're not touching Jose Ramirez. Anybody else, I'm up for discussion. But you're not getting those two. I don't care what kind of a rebuild we're going to be in. Now, this all could sound rather silly because you're only a game out of one of the wild card spots. Now, you got to climb over 4 teams to get there. But a wild card spot is still well within the possibility. They've played 70 of 162. The Guardians have. They're 35-35. But I thought today would be a good day for the poll question to get a gauge from you, the baseball fans. What are they going to do? What will the Guardians end up doing? Will they win the division? Are they going to get, smoking hot? Are they going to catch the Tigers? Are they going to win the division? Are they going to shock us all? Or are they just going to get a wild card spot? Are they going to get a seat at the table and let whatever happens, happens? You got to get a ticket to the dance before you can dance, okay? Will they miss the playoffs completely? No division, no wild card, no nothing. Or will they have a fire sale? Maybe around the trade deadline and start moving pieces off this team, surrendering, putting up the white flag and saying, we'll see you next year. Thanks for coming. Enjoy the dollar dogs, enjoy the free T-shirts, and enjoy the fireworks. But we're going to pack it in. Is that where we're headed? Where do you think the Guardians are headed? They're 35-35. It isn't like they're 50 games under 500. It isn't like they're the second coming of the White Sox or the A's or the Rockies. But you know how sometimes baseball owners get? even when they're in that hunt for that wild card spot, and maybe it's not even the top spot, maybe it's the second or the third wild card, they're like, okay, maybe we'll make it in, but we're not really built to go anywhere. And they'll start that fire sale. They'll start moving pieces off the team. And then pretty soon, you lose 10 out of 15, you lose 20 out of 28, and the season just becomes a disaster. Now, I don't know if that's where we are now. But when I start seeing stuff like Stephen Kwan is the best trade chip for the Cleveland Guardians, then I start to get worried. I don't think people are making this up. I mean, but seriously, who else would you come after on this team? If you're trying to make a run, if you're trying to win your division, or you think you need one or two pieces to maybe get the top wild card, or you just want to beef up the roster for the postseason, and you pick up the phone and you dial 216, ... Hello, Cleveland Guardians, can we help you? Who are you going to ask for besides Jose Ramirez and or Stephen Kwan? I mean, sir, who else are you going to ask for? Kyle Manzardo? Daniel Schneemann? Bo Naylor? Will Wilson? Jeff Junis? Who else are you going to try to come after? I mean, honestly, Jose and Quan are the only two valuable chips. And like I said, you better not get rid of those guys, or you will have a fan revolt like you haven't seen since you changed your name. I don't think anybody wants that. But where do you sit with the Guardians after 70 games? What are they? Who are they? Are they just a 500 team at 35 up and 35 down? Are they the Bill Parcells that we've all heard about? Are they what their record says they are? Do you give them a chance to catch the Tigers? They're 9.5 out. I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be tough for them to get a wild card. I do. And if they do get in, can they play with the Yankees? Can they play with the Rays? Can they play with the Tigers? Can they play with the Astros? Kind of have my doubts there a little bit. Off tonight, the Giants Tuesday night. Robbie Ray and Slade Ciccone. The pitching matchup out in Frisco. It's a 9:45 first pitch tomorrow night. That is definitely a bucket list ballpark for me. I don't even know what they call it nowadays. Used to be Pac Bell Park. Used to be AT&T Park. Now I don't know what they call it. But I want to go. And I want to go to a day game. Gets a little chilly out there at night by the bay. I remember those old games I used to watch at Candlestick Park back when the Giants were not very good. Whew. Those poor folks. It was in the high 30s sometimes in the month of June. And then, late in the year when it was October, you sit in that old cavernous place, and of course it's not there anymore, but people were bundled up like they were going out into 6 inches of snow and wind. Brutal. So I think I want to go to a day game out in Frisco, but I certainly want to get there and check that out. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 330-821-1310. You can always text the program, 330-924-7088. And don't forget, you can always like, follow, and share all of our social media platforms, AM 1310 WDPN on Twitter, on Facebook, and the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel, as we love to interact with you Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 here on 1310 WDPN. We'll take a break. On the other side, today in sports history, and a letter from a listener. That's all next here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland.
The love they showed me.
Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear.
You see a car,
it's
our
our
it on
choice.
AutoTrader.
Love it
my TV detective
or
car.
lose it.
Just put your info in the Kelly
Help
Blue Book
protect
My
our
Wallet,
oceans.
browse
Visit
personalized
World
monthly payments
Wildlife
from dealers
Fund
in your
at
area, and start to catch the deal online.
www.org/love.
Case closed.
I'll keep them involved. And we're off and running another edition of On This Day in Sports History. We do it every Monday through Friday at this time. On this date in 1883, the New York Giants baseball team admitted all ladies for free to the ballpark. It was the first Ladies' Day ever. 1938, Jimmy Fox of the Red Sox set a major league record when he walked 6 times in one game. Holy smokes. On this day in 1951, Ben Hogan won the U.S. Open for the second consecutive year. On this day in 1969, U.S. President Richard Nixon sent a telegram to Reggie Jackson thanking him for hitting a couple of home runs while he was in the park on June 11th. On this day in 1981, remember this? What an investment. The Chicago Tribune purchased the Chicago Cubs baseball team from P.K. Wrigley Chewing Gum. They paid $20.5 million. It's worth billions. Billions, the Chicago Cubs. What a deal. All right, now time for the audio portion of On This Day in Sports History. Let's go back to 1970. Oh, this is really sad. Bryan Piccolo of the Chicago Bears passed away of cancer. We all remember the movie Bryan song, Gale Sayers. And wow, remember this part of the movie close to the very end when Sayers gives this speech before the last game?
It looks like you might never play football again. Or for a long time.
Oh, man, that'll get you every time. Billy D playing Gale Sayers. Oh, that gets me every time. On this day in 1975, how about this trade? The Milwaukee Bucks would trade Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Sometime tomorrow, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will officially become a member of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Confirming our exclusive report here of 16 days ago, the Lakers will announce that they have acquired the 28-year-old former UCLA star in exchange for center Elmore Smith, forward guard Bryan Winters, and Los Angeles' top 2 draft choices of this year, UCLA's David Myers and Junior Bridgman of Louisville.
What a blockbuster trade that was. And, well, you know, the rest is history. The captain, Kareem, with the Lakers. They would go on to win multiple NBA championships. On this day in 1991, former Cleveland Indian, but then Montreal Expo, Otis Nixon stole 6 bases in one game. Here's how the first 4 sounded.
Runner goes. Strike called, throw. Wrong side of the bag. He's in there. Stolen base for Otis Nixon. The 2-1. Nixon's going. Outside, he steals third, unmolested. That's his 28th of the year. First and third, nobody out. There he goes. Strike called. Good throw, but he's in there. It's his 3rd stolen base of the day. 29th of the year. There he goes. High and tight. Throw to third. He's in there. There's his 4th and his 30th.
Otis Nixon, he would go on to steal 2 more bases. He had 6 for the day. That was the Braves and the Expos going at it there. You might remember the voice. That was Skip Carey from the days in TBS. Now, the funny part about that clip, and I don't know if Ryan can go back and get this. The second stolen base by Otis Nixon, I would have swore Skip Carey said he stole it unmolested. It was supposed to be uncontested. I think he said unmolested. I'm like, what are we doing here? And on this day in 1993, Michael Jordan scored 55 points in the NBA Finals against the Phoenix Suns. He became the first player to score 50 in a finals game since Jerry West in 1969.
One of the things, it looked like one of your strategies was to get to the hoop more. Well, we didn't get many fouls last game, and I said, I'm going to get some fouls. If I don't get fouls, I'm going to get some easy layups. So I had to go to the hole. All right, congratulations to you, and we'll see you on Friday. All right, thanks, Michael. Back to you, Marv.
Oh, yeah, NBC coverage here. That was Ahmad Rashad interviewing MJ after he dropped 55 on the Suns. The news and the weather next on 1310.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 5:30. The conflict between Israel and Iran has forced many countries in the Middle East to close their airspace as Israeli jets and Iranian exploding drones and missiles fly over their night skies. There is no sign the conflict is ending soon, and many in the region fear a wider war as they watch waves of attacks. Dozens of airports in the region have stopped their flights or reduced operations, leaving tens of thousands of passengers stranded at airports in the region and many others unable to flee the conflict or travel home. Iran says more than 220 people have died since the conflict began. In Israel, at least 24 people have been killed. In an exclusive interview with ABC's Jonathan Karl, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's not confident that Iran wants to have more talks in good faith and says Israeli forces are targeting more than just Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile programs.
We're going to see if Iran is serious about dismantling their nuclear program, dismantling their missile capacity, dismantling the terror axis that terrorizes everybody in the Middle East and well beyond. If they agree to all of that, obviously, the war could end.
President Trump is in Canada for the G7 or Group of Seven summit. The president declined to answer what it would take for the U.S. to be directly involved in the growing conflict between Israel and Iran, saying he didn't want to talk about the issue. Instead, Trump continued to press Iran on negotiations on its nuclear program. During a bilateral meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Trump said they should talk and they should talk immediately. Trump added, "I'd say Iran is not winning this war." All 17 former members of a CDC advisory panel on vaccines are speaking out following their recent firings by the Health and Human Services Secretary. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has more from Washington.
Writing in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, the former members of the advisory panel say their dismissals have left the nation's vaccine program critically weakened. These experts also say the administration's changing recommendations on COVID-19 shots, quote, reflect a troubling disregard for the scientific integrity that has historically guided U.S. immunization strategy. Last week, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appointed 8 new members to the vaccine panel, including noted vaccine skeptics.
It's 76 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high around 79. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms for the early morning, a low near 66. Tuesday, a chance of showers, possibly a thunderstorm by early afternoon, a high of 79. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the program. We've got about 25 minutes or so left in the program. 330-821-1310 is the number. That's 330-821-1310. You know what? I got a letter here. This was last week. Yes, an actual letter in the mail. And I didn't know that people wrote letters anymore, really. It's Dear Sam, have enjoyed your play-by-play on the radio for years. For me, fall in Ohio is having to put on a sweatshirt and listening to you call Mount Union football games on a Saturday. Just heard a couple of weeks ago you doing sports talk on WDPN, a very pleasant surprise. We'll tune in as much as possible. Take care. Pete Laubacher from Minerva, graduate of Canton South. I thought that was really neat. Pete, thank you. And if you're listening today, I appreciate you, obviously taking the time to write a letter and mail it and all that stuff. And we appreciate you listening to the show, and we'll keep doing our thing. So look forward to having you listen to our program. And of course, join us for Mount Union football coming up here in the first week of September. I thought that was kind of cool.
We also have a text, Sam, if you got a second.
Sure, go for it.
Good old Sal here chiming in. He wants to know what you think about the finals game 5 tonight. He says maybe add 3 to the Pacers to make it plus 12.5. Sal's a beauty. He wants to tease the NBA bet tonight. Okay, I see what he's doing there. Game 5 is so pivotal. I'm glad he texted, because this was the next up on our thing to do here was talk about the NBA tonight. I know. I saw it. It was so perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sal.
So Game 5 is big when it's a tie series. I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a stat out there. The winner of Game 5 in a best-of-7 series, usually, I think it's almost 75% of the time, goes on to win the series. Oklahoma City right now is a 9.5-point favorite. The total is somewhere around 225. What is it? I think it's 224.5. Yes. OKC minus 9.5, total 224.5. Whew. They're begging you to take Indiana. They're begging you. Who's on the officiating crew tonight? Is the extender on the crew tonight Scott Foster? I don't know who. I can't find who's on the crew. But I do know it's 9.5. I just can't see. I can't see it. Like, Sal, if you want to grab those extra 3 and make it 12.5, I mean, there's no such thing as a lock, and there are no guarantees in the betting world. But if you're going to give me Rick Carlisle and Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam and Nembhard and Neesmith and McConnell, and you're going to give me 12.5, may not have a hard time turning that down. But, if you go back and look at the betting lines in this series, Okie opened up at -5.5 in the opener, got beat. Then Vegas took the line to like 8, 7.5, 8.5 for the next game. And the Thunder crushed Indiana. Series goes back to Indianapolis. The Thunder was like a 4.5-point favorite at tip. Indiana beat them outright. Then Vegas made the Thunder a bigger favorite in Game 4. And they covered by 0.5. I remember. It was 6.5. They ended up winning the game by 7, and Scott Foster was on the officiating crew that night. So I would say tonight, if you're into the betting thing, and you know the difference between a straight bet, a flat bet, a teaser bet, all that stuff, if you want to buy points, put a little extra down. To me, if I'm going to get Indiana plus 12.5, that's too good to pass up. I'm probably going to do that. But at 9.5, I might just stay away. I think I like this game to go over the total, too. I think it goes over 224.5. But I don't know. I've been wrong before. So, Sal, I hope you make the right call there. I did find it very interesting that Pacers coach Rick Carlisle yesterday, he was in the press conference with the media, he was talking about all the criticism that the officiating that followed Game 4. And again, a lot of the talk was of longtime NBA referee Scott Foster. Scott Foster has the nickname the Extender. It's like the NBA brings him in when they need to even up a series. I'm not making this up. And you wonder why people look at pro sports with the fisheye. Like, okay, what's going on here? What are you doing? What are you up to? They bring this guy in, and he goes to work. He gets the fouls up. He gets the technicals up against the other side. And by the end of the night, the team that the NBA, in quotations, wanted to win or wanted to win by a certain amount of points, it gets the job done. So there was a press conference yesterday, and Carlisle fielded a question about the role that he felt the officiating played in Game 4, which, by the way, if you thought there were a lot of fouls, you were right. There were 53. That's a lot. 53 fouls, 2 flagrant fouls, 2 technical fouls. Wait for it. 71 free throws. And you wonder why these games take 3 hours to play. You wonder why the ratings have been so bad. You wonder why the ratings are so bad. Look, I think the series has been pretty good. Have there been times where I've said, quit calling fouls, quit shooting free throws? Yes. I've been screaming at the TV. Yes, I have. But I found it weird that Rick Carlisle's team, who got beat, was like coming to the aid of Scott Foster and the NBA officials. Maybe he was trying to plant the seed for Game 5 tonight in Oklahoma City and hoping that his team doesn't get hosed. If Scott Foster's on this game tonight, look out. A lot of fans and pundits have called out the elevated total fouls in general. The number of times Foster blew his whistle in particular. Carlisle made clear on Sunday he found the critiques offensive. He says, quote, as far as officiating, I think it's awful some of the things I've been hearing and seeing about the officials and Scott Foster in particular. I've known Scott for 30 years. He's a great official. Oh, smokes. He's doing a great job in the playoffs. We have had him a lot this year. And the ridiculous scrutiny that's hitting him and being thrown out there is terrible, unfair, and unjust. It's stupid. That surprises me that Rick Carlisle would do that. Again, unless he's trying to plant the seed for Game 5. But 71 free throws in an NBA Finals game, that's a little too much for me. Hopefully it's not that kind of a game tonight. You're looking at these games. First of all, the 8:30 tip time is a flat out lie. It's a lie. These games are tipping off at like 8:42, 8:43. Okay, it's not 8:30. And I believe most of the games, except for the Sunday night game, have lasted until almost 11:30. I know 11:30 is not crazy late, but for a lot of people that got to get up and go to work early, you know, you're losing those folks. You're losing them. I mean, an NBA Finals game should be over by 11 o'clock. Should be over by 11. The coverage should be over. The interviews, it should be done. Let's go to the local news. That's where I'm at.
I mean, imagine
am I
leaving
nuts?
that too.
What's
like,
that?
Imagine leaving the game at that time. You have to drive like out of the city. You got to get through traffic. You got like an hour, half hour drive home, maybe. You know,
well, hey,
you're getting home at like 2, 3 in the morning.
I remember doing that with the when I was covering the Cavs when they went on that crazy run from 2015 through 2018. 4 years in a row, we were covering the NBA Finals. The finals were starting at 9. They were starting after 9 o'clock. So, okay, let's just say they started at 9:10. They never started at 9. It was a 2.5 hour, 2 hours and 45 minutes game. So now you're looking at 9:10, 11:10. It's almost midnight. Then you got your work to do in the arena. We used to get our interviews, send out our tweets, send out our stories, this, that, and the other. Then you walk to the parking garage. You get in your car. It's 1 a.m. I had an hour, 10-minute drive home. It was 2:10. Get the car in the garage, get it parked, get inside, figure out where I'm at. It's 2:20. And you got to get up the next day, which we didn't mind. Our team was in the finals. It was LeBron against Steph and Draymond and Kyrie and Kevin Love and Clay. It was good. It was fun. But, like, if you're asking most people to get involved, to take up a big part of their night late at night, but they don't really have a dog in the fight, but you want the numbers, the viewing numbers to be good, man, you got to wrap this stuff up by 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. And if I sound like Tweedledee, then so be it. You got to start these games earlier. Even though kids are out of school, and I know that there's a pretty good chunk of the kids are watching the NBA. Now, depending who's playing, probably not as many with this series as others. But the kids are staying up till what? Midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. They're sleeping in for the next day, 11 o'clock noon. Hell, there were times I didn't get up till 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh,
sometimes.
Those summer times, man, in high school. Oh.
So, I mean, why are we starting these games at 8:40? What the? Oh, it's the West Coast. Who cares? Who cares? There's so many more people. There's so many more households. There's so many more people watching on the east of the Mississippi River. Why do we constantly cater to the West Coast and the Mountain Time Zone? Why? Why do we continue to do that? That's not where your audience is. It's this side of the Mississippi. Start these games at 8 o'clock. Well, Sam, it's only 5 o'clock in Los Angeles. Who cares? Who cares? You think they're watching? The Lakers aren't in it. The Clippers aren't in it. The Warriors aren't in it. They're not watching anyway. The TV networks act like they're doing us this huge favor. Oh, well, Sundays we start at 8 o'clock. It's a half hour earlier. Oh, big whoop. Big to do. Start these games earlier. I don't think I'm asking for too much here. Oh, it's prime time. Hey, after 7 o'clock is prime time. All right? After 7 o'clock is prime time. If you're going to run a 3-hour product, you better start these damn games at 8 o'clock. That's all I'm saying. We'll see you tonight. Game 5, 8:43, the tip. Thunder Pacers, OKC, -9.5. We'll take our final break. We'll come back and put a bow on the Monday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. Hang out with us, 1310 WDPN.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Chronic absenteeism is on the rise.
Sophia A. absent. Julio M. absent.
These absences are often due to the absence of crucial needs like food, transportation, and healthcare.
Olivia H. absent. Preston L. absent.
But site coordinators from communities and schools connect kids to the resources they need so they show up prepared and ready to learn.
Jacob O. present.
Visit communitiesandschools.org. Being present matters. Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back. We've got a couple of minutes before we bid you adieu for a Monday. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, 3 o'clock here on 1310 WDPN for another edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. But before that, great way to start your day. Rex in the morning at 6 a.m. John Tesh, 10 until 3. And then we come along for your afternoon right here, 1310 WDPN. Of course, you can stream us anytime, AM1310WDPN.com. We do have a little less than 3 minutes. We're still getting some good response on our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. The Cleveland Guardians will end up what? Winning the division, getting a wild card, miss the playoffs, or have a fire sale? Some of the latest ones to come in here on social media. Steve says they're going to miss the playoffs and also have a fire sale. Although, who wants to obtain? See, this is the point I made. Steve, thank you. This is the point I just made a little bit ago. He says, although who wants to obtain most of the players on our roster? They're a 500 team at best. John Stetz, the big guy up in Barberton, says they're going to have a fire sale, and they're going to have one soon. Dave says fire sale and then miss the playoffs. Carolyn, Sam, they're going to miss the playoffs. Pam says they're going to miss the playoffs. Too inconsistent. No hitting. They look like an uninspired team this year. Ooh, when you hear that, that sounds a little scary. When you hear inconsistent, disinterested, that's a focal point of what? That usually goes back to the manager. However, I don't think that's the case with this team. I think Stephen Boat is getting a lot out of these guys. I think they really like playing for him. I don't think that's a factor. I just think there's not enough talent on this team. Name me a really, 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 really good player after Hosey and Stephen Kwan. Go ahead. I dare you.
Ramirez.
I dare you. All right. No, you can't name him. You can't. Jose Ramirez and Stephen Kwan. Other than those two, name me a really good, solid player.
I don't know why I chimed in. I don't have a horse in this race.
You just can't. You just can't. Hopefully they'll get it together out in San Francisco. By the way, if you missed it earlier today, Joey Chestnut made the announcement on Instagram. He's back for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July.
You're just saying this now? That's actually incredibly exciting news.
For who?
Me.
Well, okay. Go have
No, that's just funny. That's actually something I kind of know about. So that's cool, actually. Good for him.
Yeah, there you go. Have a couple of hot dogs tonight there, Rainsburg.
Yeah, sure.
Celebrate.
There you go.
All right, thanks to Ryan. Thanks to all of you for listening, commenting, and hanging around today. We certainly appreciate it. Thanks to my guest, Bob Nightengale from USA Today, and Bryan Herberghs from the First Tee, Canton, and, of course, the golf coach at Canton, McKinley. We will see you tomorrow at 3. Remember, go Guards, go Browns, go Bucks, go Cavs. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
I can't